guys, I hope you do well and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed a New Year so far and Happy New Year to you guys. So this is the first video I'm going to do is read aloud. I could be doing, I'll be a bit nervous, something exciting things going on. What I'm going to do is reading the Disney classic books, Aladdin and Cinderella. There's really interesting books you ever read. Have you read those since childhood? What's your favourite Disney character do you like? Or what's your least favourite Disney character? What films do you like, or TV shows, whatever you call it? Okay, so first thing is start reading with Aladdin. Aladdin's my favourite film. This is I love Aladdin since childhood. I think this edition is Gorilla Book Club edition. Okay. Ready? Long ago, beneath the shell-rimmed stars of the desert at night, a fantastic tale began to unfold. Jafar, advisor to the Sultan of Agrabah, was searching for a lamp hidden in a place known as the Cave of Wonders. This magical lamp held within a powerful genie who could grant 3 wishes to whoever possessed the lamp. The only way to find the entrance of the Cave of Wonders was to match 2 hells of a scarab metal lion. Medellin. The evil Jafar had 1/2, and now he and his parrot, Iago, waited for a thief named Gassium to bring the other. Suddenly, they heard the muffled sound of galloping hooves. Moments later, Gassium's horses skidded to the halt. "Have you brought it?" asked Jafar. "I have one." "Oh, patient one," answered Gassium. Jafar took out his half of a medallion and put the 2 pieces together. The scarab began to glow. Then it sprang from Jafar's hand and streaked across the desert like a shooting star. "Follow the trail," Jafar shouted as he spurred his horse. 2 men followed an enchanted scarab until it split into the 2 lights in the dune. The dune grew larger and larger. Finally, it transformed into the face of a huge tiger with the 2 glowing eyes. "At last, the Cave of Wonders," cried Jafar. He turned to Gassium. "Now remember, bring me a lamp. The rest of the treasure is yours, but the lamp is mine." Trembling, Gassium entered the tiger's mouth. In an instant, his huge jaws clamped shut around him. "Only one may enter here," thundered the voice of a cave. "Seek thee a diamond in the raft." With that, cave sank into the sand, leaving only scab behind. "I can't believe it. Well, we'll never get that stupid lamp now," squeaked Iago after he had retrieved the scarab. "Patience, Iago," said Jafar. He thought for a moment. The diamond in the raft. Someone poor and ragged on the outside, but pure and noble on the inside. "I must find this one," he said with an evil smile. The next morning, in the Agrabah's marketplace, a young man named Aladdin and his monkey Abu were helping themselves to breakfast. The fruit seller saw them and sent Rasu, the Sultan's chief guard, after them. "Stop, thief!" shouted Rasu as they raced away. The guards chased Aladdin and Abu through the streets, but they managed to escape. As they sat down to eat, Aladdin noticed two hungry children like him. They had no money for food, so although he was starving himself, Aladdin gave his food to the grateful children. Inside the palace, the Sultan was having a difficult morning too. His beautiful daughter, Princess Jasmine, had insulted yet another prince who had come to propose to her. "Oh, Jasmine, you've got to stop rejecting every prince who comes to call," said the Sultan. "The law says you must marry the prince by your next birthday. The law is wrong. If I do marry, I want to be for love," replied Jasmine. Later, as Jasmine petted her tiger, she said softly, "I have never had any real friends except you, Jafar, Raja. I have never even been outside these walls. I must get away before it's too late." That night, Jasmine changed into ordinary clothes. With a sad goodbye to Raja, she climbed over the golden wall to freedom. Jasmine's eyes grew wide with wonder as she explored the marketplace of Aqaba the next morning. She had never seen so many strange sights before. Soon, Jasmine spotted a hungry child. Without a second thought, she plucked an apple from the fruit stand and handed it to him. You'd better able to pay for that," shouted the fruit seller. "I'm sorry, sir," stammered a princess. "I don't have any money, but if you let me go to the palace, I can get some from a sultan." "Thief!" shouted the fruit seller. Luckily for Jasmine, Aladdin came by just in time. "Forgive my poor sister," he said to the fruit seller. "She's a little crazy in her head. She thinks a monkey is a sultan." As the fruit seller thought this over, and Aladdin, Jasmine disappeared into the crowd. Aladdin led Jasmine to his rooftop home. "We are safe here," he said. "Where do you come from?" "I went away from home," replied Jasmine, "and I'm never going back. My father is forcing me to get married." "That's awful," Aladdin exclaimed. Suddenly, Jasmine's eyes met Aladdin's, and they leaned towards one another to kiss. Meanwhile, in his secret laboratory high above the palace, Jafar consulted his magic hourglass. "Oh, sands of time," he chanted. "We failed to meet the one who could enter the cave." The sand parted, and gradually an image began to appear. It was the image of Aladdin. Aladdin turned to Iago and flashed his evil grin. "Let's have the gods extend him an invitation to the palace, shall we?" Just as Jasmine and Aladdin were about to kiss, the gods arrived. Aladdin ran to the edge of the roof and held his hand to Jasmine. "Trust me. Do you trust me?" he asked. She nodded. "Then jump," he cried. They landed safely in a pile of hay. But before they could get away, Rasu grabbed them angrily. Jasmine threw back her hood. "Unhound him by the order of a princess," she commanded. "The princess?" repeated Aladdin in surprise. I could not release this prisoner, said Basu. The orders for his arrest came from Jafar. Jasmine rushed back to the palace. The guards just took the boy from the marketplace on your orders. She scolded Jafar. I want to release him at once. I'm sorry, Princess, but he has already been executed, said Jafar. No, how could you? Cried Jasmine. In a tears, she ran to her room. It's all my fault, she sobbed to Rasha. He was so gentle and brave. I didn't even know his name. But Aladdin was not dead. He and Abu were in the palace dungeon. Yet Aladdin could think about was Jasmine. She thinks she's a princess. He said to himself, she deserved a prince, not someone like me. Just then, the old man appeared from the shadows. He was Jafar in disguise. I can help you get out of here. I found treasures enough to impress your princess, he said. If you will help me find a worthless old lamp, eager to escape, Aladdin agreed. Soon they were on their way to the Cave of Wonders. When they got to the desert, Jafar lifted the scarab pieces together. At once the Cave of Wonders rose up from the sand. Touch nothing but the lamp, rumbled the voice of the cave. Quicker, my boy, urged the old man. My lamp is in there. Fetch it, and you shall have your reward. Aladdin and Abu entered the cave. In the first room, they found the golden jewels and a friendly magic carpet. The carpet led them to another room and to the magic lamp. But just as Aladdin was about to grab the lamp, Abu reached for the giant ruby. No, Abu, shouted Aladdin. But it was too late. You have touched the forbidden treasure, thundered the voice of the cave. Now you will never again see the light of the day. At all once, the cave walls began to crumble and the floor melted in a swirling pool of lava. Aladdin grabbed a lamp, but then he slipped before he fell into the very liquid. He was saved by the magic carpet. Then he rescued Abu and flew to the entrance of the cave. Just as they reached the entrance, a boulder knocked a magic carpet out from under them. Aladdin fell off, but he managed to grasp a rim of the cave. Help! Shouted an old man, but instead of helping, Jafar took a lamp angrily. Abu jumped up and bit the old man. Ugh! Shrieked Jafar, throwing Abu into the cave. Aladdin could hold on no longer. The cave collapsed, sealing Aladdin and Abu deep inside it. It was quiet when Aladdin awoke. We are trapped, he said to Abu and the carpet to cheer him up. Abu pulled out a lamp from his vest. Why, you little thief, chuckled Aladdin, taking the lamp. There's something written on it, but it's hard to read. And he said as he rubbed the lamp began to glow. Then, in a puff of blue smoke, out popped a magical genie. Say, you are a lot smaller than my master, the genie said. I'm your master? Asked Aladdin in surprise. That's right, replied the genie. I'm here for your wish fulfillment. He have 3 of them. To be exact, but no wishing for one more wishes. I don't know, said Aladdin shyly. You probably can't even get us out of the cave. You don't know, said the genie. Well, watch this. Quite quick as a wink, the genie whisked them all out of the cave. Not bad, said Aladdin. I still have 3 wishes. The genie laughed. All right, but no more freebies. What would you wish for? Aladdin asked him. That's easy, said the genie. For my freedom, but a master has to wish for that. So you can guess how often that's happened. Aladdin tried to imagine living inside the lamp. Then he said, I'll use my 3rd wish to set you free. But first, I wish to be a prince, he added, as thoughts of Jasmine filled in his head. With a snap of her fingers, the genie changed Aladdin's ragged clothes into the silken robes and Abu into the handsome elephant. Now, I am worthy of a princess, said Aladdin happily as he put the lamp under his turban. It wasn't long before he was being ushered into the Sultan's palace. I am Prince Ali Baba, Aladdin declared. I have came to win the hand of Princess Jasmine. But Jasmine thought a young man was just another silly prince, and she fled a room in disgust. Later, Prince Ali managed to convince Princess to go for the midnight ride on the magic carpet. Is it safe? She asked. Sure, he replied. Do you trust me? In a flash, Jasmine remembered when she had heard those words before. Yes, she said softly. Taking his hand, Jasmine stepped onto the carpet and away they soared. Could this prince be a boy I met in the marketplace? Wondered Jasmine. She decided to find out. It's a shame. Abu couldn't come with us, she said. Abu doesn't really like to fly, replied Aladdin. It is you, blurted Jasmine. But Aladdin was still too ashamed to admit he wasn't really a prince. Aladdin and Jasmine enjoyed their romantic ride. Then they flew back to the palace and said goodnight with a kiss. Meanwhile, Jafar had decided to marry Jasmine himself. So as soon as Jasmine was out of sight, the guards had grabbed Aladdin. I'm afraid you have worn out your welcome, Prince Ali, Aladdin hissed. Then the guards tied Aladdin up and threw him into the sea. The heights attached to Aladdin's feet pulled him deep into the water. His turban fell off and the lamp tumbled out. He managed to rub it and the genie appeared. "El, step out of it," the genie urged. "You have to say, 'Genie, I want to save my life,' okay?" Aladdin nodded slightly and the genie brought him to shore. Back at the palace, Jafar used his magical cobra staff to the Sultan under the spell. "Jasmine," You will marry Jafar, droned the Sultan. Never, cried Jasmine. Father, I choose Prince Ali. At the moment, Aladdin burst into the room. He broke Jafar's staff and shouted, Your Highness, Jafar has been controlled with this. In the struggle, Jafar spied the magic lamp hidden in Aladdin's turban. As soon as Jafar appeared, it escaped. He had Iago steal it, so Aladdin and Prince Ali are the same, cried Jafar. When he had a lamp at last, I was getting a bit. Jafar eagerly rubbed the lamp and the genie appeared. Jafar wished to be a sultan. Then he wished to be a powerful sorcerer. He turned the sultan into a jester, Jasmine into a slave, and Warja into the tiger cub. I'm the most powerful man in the world, Jafar declared. No, you're not, shouted Aladdin. The genie is. You are right, Jafar agreed. The genie's power does exceed my own. But not for long. My third wish is to be an all-powerful genie. Your wish, said the genie, is my command. In a flash, Jafar grew into a mighty genie. But before he could enjoy his new powers, shackled appears on his wrists, and a lamp appeared beneath him. With a giant whoosh, and Iago was stuck down into a tiny lamp. 10,000 years in the cave of wonders, out to cheer him out, said the genie. As he flung Jafar's lamp far into a desert, everything returned to normal. Got one more chapter, page, 2 more, then finished. I'll be moving to the next one. True to his word, Aladdin used his last wish to free the genie. Then he turned to Aladdin and said softly, I am sorry I lied to you about being the prince. I know why you did, Jasmine answered. Prince or no prince? You have certainly proved your worth. It's a lot that's a problem, declared the Sultan. From this day on, the princess shall marry whomever should deem worthy. I choose Aladdin, Jasmine said. Everyone waved goodbye to the genie as he flew off to the city world. Then Jasmine and Aladdin shared a gentle kiss and lived happily ever after. Well, if is anyone interested in reading Aladdin to you so far, you're always welcome to write your comments down below and give a like if you like to. Okay, so also for now, let's move on to Cinderella. This is a classic 1950 animated full-length film. And then it looks interested. Okay, so this is our first chapter. That's where we are now. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful girl named Cinderella. She was so kind that even the mice and the birds were her friends. Each morning, the birds woke her up from her sweet dreams with a song. Cinderella lived with her cruel stepmother and her 2 stepsisters, Anastasia and Drusilla. She treated her like a servant. Cinderella had to do all of the cooking, sewing and washing and scrubbing. Her stepsisters never did any work. One day, the royal messenger came to the house. He brought a letter from a king. The stepmother read the letter The king was giving the royal ball for the prince that night. Every girl in the kingdom was invited. That means I can go, Cinderella cried. Her stepsister laughed. Imagine Cinderella dancing with a prince, Drusilla cackled. She's the only fit to the dance with a broom, added Anastasia. But the letter says every girl is invited, Cinderella insisted. So just the stepmother agreed. You may go if you get all your work done, and if you can, find something to wear. Oh, thank you, said Cinderella. She quickly ran up to her room. Cinderella pulled the dress out of her trunk. This was my mother's dress, she told the mice. Isn't it lovely? It just needs some decoration. Cinderella's mice had never seen her so happy. The thin mouse named Shock thought Cinderella would be the prettiest girl in the ball. A fat mouse named Gus agreed. Cinderella took out her sewing basket. I needed a sash and some beads, she said. Just then, her stepmother shouted, Cinderella. Cinderella hurried downstairs. Cinderella, wash the floors, her stepmother had ordered. But I washed them yesterday, Cinderella said. Well, wash them again, snapped the cruel woman. And dust the drapes and clean the windows and finish the sewing. The mice felt sorry for Cinderella. Cinderella, do this. Cinderella, do that, Shock said. Cinderella will never have time to fix her dress. Then her stepmother won't have to let her go to the ball. Poor Cinderella, Gus agreed. One of the mice had an idea. Why don't we fix the dress for Cinderella? We can do it. All the animals agreed to help. Gus and Shock sneaked into her stepsister's room. Drusilla and Anastasia were getting ready for the ball. This sash is old, Anastasia said. These beads are horrible. Drusilla said. They threw their things away. Gus and Shock took their sash and beads. Pretty. Gus exclaimed. Shh. Shock hissed. He was afraid they would wake Lucifer the cat. But the mice made it safely back to the attic. Soon every beak and paw was busy. The animals measured and cut and sewed while they worked. Cinderella helped her stepsisters with their gowns. Soon it was time to leave for the ball. Why, Cinderella? Her stepmother sneered. You are not ready. What a shame. Cinderella slowly climbed the stairs to the room. Oh well, what's a royal ball, she said. It would probably be dull and boring, and Cinderella sighed. Completely wonderful, but her dress wasn't finished. She can go. Cinderella opened the door to her room. Surprise! Shouted the mice and birds. Cinderella thought it was dreaming. She was dreaming. Her dress was beautiful. Oh, thank you, Cinderella told her little friends. She put on the gown and hurried downstairs. Is it my dress lovely? Will I go to the ball? Cinderella asked. Anastasia and Drusilla gasped. Mother, she can't. Well, we did have a bargain, began the stepmother. At the moment, the sisters recognised the things they did run away. "My sash," said Anastasia, wild. "My beads." Drusilla shrugged. The sisters told Cinderella's gown they took back the sash and the beads. Cinderella was left in rags. Then Drusilla and Anastasia went to the ball with their mother. Cinderella ran into the garden. She tried to remember her sweet dreams, but she didn't think they would ever come true. Her animal friends had never seen her so sad. "There's nothing left to believe in. Nothing," Cinderella sobbed. She didn't notice the lights that twinkled and danced all around her. But Shock and Gus did. They could hardly believe her eyes. The light turned into a kind-looking woman. The woman patted her Cinderella's head. She said, "You must believe in something, or I couldn't be here. And here I am. So dry your tears. Now, where did I put my wand?" The woman was Cinderella's fairy godmother. Everything she said needed to help Cinderella was right in the garden. The fairy godmother waved to one, biddity-boddity-boo. The 4 mice became the white horses. Biddity-boddity-boo. A pumpkin turned into a beautiful coach. A horse became a coachman, and a dog became a footman. The fairy godmother was very pleased. "Hop in, my dear. We can't waste time," she urged. "Do you think my dress?" Cinderella began. "Good heavens, child, you can't go like that," said the fairy godmother. Biddity-boddity-boo. Suddenly Cinderella was wearing the gown of her dreams, and on her feet she wore the glass slippers. The fairy godmother said, "Like all dreams, my magic must end. At midnight, the spell will be broken." Cinderella promised to be home before midnight. Off she rode to the ball. The ball already began. The king was not very happy. He wanted his own son to marry. The prince had danced with all the girls at the ball, but he had not fallen in love with any of them. Love at first sight only happy in fairy tales, the duke told the king. At the moment Cinderella made her entrance, the prince stared in wonder. Here was the girl of his dreams. Prince asked Cinderella to dance. Cinderella and the prince danced around the ballroom. Everyone wondered about the girl with a girl. "Do we know her?" Drusilla asked. "The prince seems to." Anastasia said jealously, "There is something familiar about her." The stepmother said. When the dance ended, Cinderella and the prince walked in the garden. They were falling in love. Suddenly, the clock began to strike midnight. "I must go," cried Cinderella. "Wait!" called the prince, but Cinderella couldn't wait. As she fled, she lost one of her glass slippers. The prince showed the glass slippers to the duke. "Find the girl whose foot fits the slipper. I will marry her," said the prince. The prince said. Meanwhile, Cinderella's dress had become rags again. The coach was now the pumpkin. Then the horses became mice again, and the coachman and the footmen had turned back into the horse and the dog. All Cinderella had left was one slipper. The Grand Duke searched the entire kingdom for the girl whose foot fit the slipper. Soon, everyone knew that Prince would marry that girl. When Cinderella heard this, she got a dreamy look in her eyes. The stepmother saw the dreamy look. She didn't want Cinderella to marry the prince. So she locked Cinderella in her room. The stepmother put a key in her pocket and left. Gus and Shock saw everything. We have got to get the key, Shock cried. Gus agreed. The two brave mice managed to get the key from the stepmother's pocket. They struggled to get the big heavy key up in the stairs. Shock and Gus had to hurry. The Duke had just arrived. This footman carried the glass slipper. Anastasia tried on the slipper. Her foot was much too big. Drusilla tried next. She couldn't even fit her toes into her slippers. Are there any other ladies in the house? Asked the Duke. There is no one else, the stepmother answered. The Duke was about to leave when Cinderella came downstairs. Shock and Gus had freed her. "Will I try on?" she asked, but the stepmother tripped the footman. The footman fell, then the slipper broke. Luckily, Cinderella had the other glass slipper. Of course, it fixed perfectly. As this ends, Cinderella and the prince were soon married. It was the Cinderella's dream came true. Gus and Shock and Gus weren't surprised, because they always knew that if you keep on believing, that's just what the dreams to do. Yep. You know, guys, I hope you enjoyed reading the two classic Disney stories. This is my first read aloud Disney classics stories. So I hope you enjoyed this video so far, reading with me, which is reading Aladdin and Cinderella. I hope you guys enjoyed that so far. I thank you so much for listening. Have you already haven't? So you can always subscribe to my channel to hit this bell notification. You can obviously to check out my Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest. You're always welcome to support me whenever you want to do. So I hope you enjoy your new year. So please stay tuned for another read aloud, reading Disney classics. So like, comment, subscribe, share. Always appreciate it. And thank you ever so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. So I hope you see you soon. But please stay tuned.